All right, well, good morning and happy Wednesday. I hope you had a good weekend. And now we're back with more R coverage here. And so today we will talk about importing and exporting, I guess, data and stuff into R. And we'll also introduce this idea of web scraping. And we'll just do a very kind of brief, simple introduction to the topic of web scraping. And well, it's just a smidgen of it, enough to be dangerous, I guess. Okay, let's just talk about importing, exporting data. So your basic commands. You got read.csv. That's probably you probably have used this, or I imagine yes, read.csv. Or do you always use read_CSV from the reader? I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, you also have read line. This is just to get kind of standard input from the terminal, read.table and stuff. Strings as factors, they actually changed the behavior on this recently, so it defaults to strings as factors equals false. It used to turn all strings into factors, and that was annoying. Okay, there's other packages, reader, and actually when you load up RStudio and you do import data set, you have you can import from base, or you can import using reader, and kind of all of these. Let me zoom in. You have all of these options, so it makes it real nice for you to import data using kind of the point and click interface. But if you want to write a script where it's going to read in a data file, you got to familiarize yourself with these commands. And so I strongly recommend all of these ones from the tidyverse. Reader, which is for kind of your general CSV file reader. But then if you need to read in Excel files, you have read Excel. And if you're importing data from other programming statistical software, you got Haven. And there's also another package called data.table, and this is incredibly powerful for very big tables. So it's written in real efficient style. So if you've got things that are like gigabytes big, read data.table is great. Okay, so when you use package reader, you got these read underscore rather than the read dot. So you got read_CSV. And then if you have any of these other types of files, tab separated files, any kind of delimited file, a fixed width file, or tables, and you can always just go online and read the help for each of these things, and there'll be little examples on how to do this. But this is how to get your data in. And then you have a data table, and data table includes this function called fread, and it's kind of like read_CSV, but it's designed for fastest performance. So if you have any kind of data file where you've got, on the order of millions of entries, millions of lines, even over, a few 100,000, you might want to consider using data.table, and you can always read the documentation here. This is the difference between read_CSV and fread if you're going to use data table. And basically, reader is slower than data.table. Okay, it's got a little bit more of a sophisticated parser and things like that, and slightly different underlying infrastructure. Overall, if you need the fastest performance, go with fread. For most other situations, read_CSV is going to be very powerful and very good. You can read in worksheets from Excel. And so if you ever used Excel, you'll know that you can get your Excel file can contain multiple sheets. And so you can say from, by default, it's going to read in the first worksheet in the notebook or the workbook. But you can also specify you want the sheet with the title, empty cars, or you want sheet number 2. And that's read Excel. Okay, there is, sometimes you want to get data off the internet. And so there is a native function called download.file, and this will go onto the internet and download stuff. But and this was great in the 90s and early 2000s, but now almost every single website uses the secure protocol, HTTPS, right? And if you go on a website that doesn't use HTTPS, you know, your browser says not secure, not secure. And I think we've realized that there's a lot of people doing bad stuff online. And so we want to kind of make sure everything is secure. And so now this download.file, it runs into trouble because it doesn't know how to kind of do this authentication business. So there's a function, or there's a package called downloader, and it fixes a lot of these issues. Okay, it fixes a lot of these issues. So you call library downloader. There is, you can go to you know, I uploaded the iris data set, okay, onto my GitHub. And if you want to access this, you can access this. You know, you just type in this URL, and it's there. Whoops, I guess it's not. Maybe it's no longer there. Maybe I deleted this file. Wait, let me see. Oh, good. No, it's here. I just had I had the quote mark. Okay, so it's there. But again, you know, the little lock icon indicates that this connection is secure, and that, you know, download.file runs into problems. But here, once you have a library downloader loaded, you can do download. You give it the URL. You say, I want to save it to file equals iris.csv. Okay, and this is going to get saved to your working directory. So make sure you have your working directory set correctly, right? And you know, and I still see people posting messages on Campus Wire, and again, thank you everybody for who's participating on there and helping each other out. You guys are doing a real great job there, and I'm grateful for that. And you know, some of these. Oh, and I want to say, you know, sometimes you type a question in there, and then you get back an answer, and then the answer is so simple, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I should have never asked this question, and you want to delete your question. I want to encourage you not to delete your question, okay? You might be embarrassed, you know, after the fact, after you get your answer, you're like, oh, the shame at this question, but don't delete it, because chances are probably one of your classmates will have some similar question, okay? And also, you know, I don't know what happens. I don't know how Campus Wire's points work, but basically, if somebody took the time to answer your question and it was a good answer, and then you delete it, I don't know if they're going to lose those points, right? And so if somebody's getting points from answering your question, you know, they deserve earning those points. And I don't know what happens. I don't know Campus Wire's scoring system, but if you delete the question, you know, you might be eliminating the work that they've put forth. So don't be embarrassed, right? Sometimes we ask a question and then we realize, oh, we were just being silly, or you know, you feel silly after the fact, but you don't need to feel that way, okay? But on Campus Wire, I do see issues, and I think a lot of these issues do stem from either setting your working directory, or forgetting to set your work directory, or things like that. Or so make sure your working directory is set, because when you use download, it will save it to that working directory, and then you can load it up. Is there a difference between read.csv and read_csv? Yes. So read.csv is part of kind of base Python, and I don't know which library it is, but I'm not base Python, base R. So when you start up R, it's going to be on there. Okay. Read_csv is a function that's loaded with RStudio and is part of the quote tidyverse. And so right now, if I ask for read_csv, it's something. My computer's doing something. Okay, it's saying it couldn't find it. Okay, and so I have to kind of load the tidyverse. Okay, if I load the tidyverse here. All right, my computer is having okay, it's having all kinds of issues right now. But when you load the tidyverse, then it will recognize this read underscore CSV. So read underscore CSV is not part of base R, but is part of the tidyverse. And I would say its performance, read underscore CSV, is faster than read.csv. So, you know, there is a little bit of overhead. You have to load the tidyverse, which is normally a fast thing. Right now, my computer is having some issues and it's not loading the tidyverse. But generally, it won't take this long. I don't know what's going on. Okay, but it won't take that long, and it'll load the tidyverse, and then you can use read underscore CSV. But yeah, there's a little bit of an overhead. You have to load up the tidyverse, which takes a few seconds, and so if you just need to, like, if someone's like, I need you to do this in 20 seconds, then you can just do read.csv, because if you do, if you have to load the tidyverse, maybe it takes you a minute there. But yeah, overall, I recommend read underscore CSV in most circumstances, but read.csv will get the job done. It's just, if you have a bigger file, it might take a little bit longer. Sometimes you want to save objects, right? So you're working along, and it took you like a long time to calculate some giant matrix or something. So you can save these, and you save it to a .r data file, right? So whatever objects are in a .r data file, and you can call that back. If you want to do an atomic vector, right? If you have an atomic vector, you can just save it in plain text format, and you can do this. If you've got a data frame, you can save it as a CSV, right? You can do write.csv, and it will write it to CSV. Or if you don't want the row names, there's a few options here, but you can do this to export your data to either be used somewhere else or things like that. There is a library that absolutely you need to use when you're handling date and time information in R. And this is called lubridate. It's I guess a play on lubricate, making, you know, kind of like oil that makes your engines run smoother. And you've got lubridate, which will make working with dates easier. Okay, again, it's part of the tidyverse. Did the tidyverse ever load? Okay, it did load. Okay, so the tidyverse loaded, and now I can ask the question, what is read underscore CSV? And again, something going on here, but then, you know, the help will show up. Okay. It's got, I think all of my cloud files got deleted or something. It says it has to like re-download everything off the cloud. Okay, so let me just show you. I don't know if you've ever tried to work with a date in R, and if you've ever experienced this. And if you haven't experienced this, you know, consider yourselves lucky that you were never asked to have to handle dates with R using the old-fashioned kind of system. And so here, let's say we have this string, right? January 15, 1999, okay? I don't know, maybe, probably most of you were born in what, the year 2000, 2001? I don't know, 2002? I don't know how old you guys are. I don't know. Something, you guys are mouthing things to the screen, but I can't, you know, I have no idea. But anyway, all right, so anyway, here's someone's birthday, all right? Maybe a year or two older than you, okay. In this format, because January is written out, you have to use %B, okay? And then you put in, there's a space between that and the number, so the day is %D, and the year is written as 4 digits here, and so we write %Y. Okay, here is, and then it recognizes it as the date, okay? Now, if I had forgotten, I said, oh, you know what, I forgot to put in a comma between the 15, right, this here in the format, I forgot to put the comma in, and then R goes, I can't do it, and it gives me, you know, a mistake here, right? Okay, so here is December 15th, 2001. Okay, maybe someone's birthday is a little bit close to that, who knows, right? And here, because I got dashes here, I have to put the dashes in here, right? But again, if I don't leave the dashes, I get an NA. And here, because the December is represented with 12 rather than January, I have to say, oh, this is %M, and there's kind of this lookup, this whole format thing where you say, if you've got the name written out in English words, you use %B. If you've got the month written out and as a number, you use %m, and there's all kinds of things. And if you do it wrong, R can't do it. R can't handle it. Okay. And then, and if you have a mix of things, right? So here I've got 3 dates, and we as humans, we can look at this and we can understand all of these dates and we can parse this. But the computer, without lubridate, just says, oh, okay, this is the format. I recognize this, but I can't read these things. Okay. Oh, this is the format. Okay. I can recognize this one, but I can't read the other 2. Okay. And here's the one with slashes, and I can put the slashes in here, and it can recognize that, but it can't read the other one. So it's very frustrating, just because, you know, if I ask you to punch in your date, your birthday, or your phone number, everyone types in a little bit of a different format here, right? Okay, lubridate, you just say, you know what, as long as everybody's entering them in month, day, year, okay? So here I've got the vector of strings, you know, as long as they're all entering month, day, year, it's able to recognize all 3. It's able to recognize all 3 as long as they're all kind of written in that month, day, year order. And that's, you have no idea how much of a relief this is. After having to deal with this and then seeing this was like magic to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we need. But maybe the difficulty of this is lost, right? It's kind of, I feel like the old grandpa saying, like, in my day, we had to walk uphill in the snow both ways. And it's like, in my day, I had to parse dates using using these things. And yeah. Okay. Does this make date objects or string objects? So these are date time objects. And so you can do like calculations between dates, and you can like do this minus this, and it will tell you like how many days are in between those things. Days are a weird thing. Here's a question. Is a date a numeric object or a categorical object, or numeric variable or categorical variable? January 19, 2022. What do you guys think? Okay, so I see a lot of people saying categorical, and this is the weird thing. It's numeric. It's numeric because you go, what? Right? Because it makes sense, right? If January, so if you think of numeric objects, is you can take, the idea there is you can take 2 things and there's a distance between them, kind of. So you can say, you know, like one person is 5 feet tall and one person 6 feet tall, and there's a difference of 1 foot between them. And you can take 2 dates and you can say there is 12 days between them. There's 18 days between them. There's 365 days between them, even though things feel weird. So like, you know, January 19, 2022 and February 19, 2022, we can subtract those things and we'll say, oh, there's 31 days between these 2 dates. It feels weird because the way we keep track of time and days in the calendar is this just arbitrary system that everybody in the world one day said, okay, we'll do it. You want to call the first 31 days of a year? Well, first of all, like, okay, we'll agree on this thing of years, because when we look at the weather and the stars in the sky, it looks like it follows the cycle. So we'll agree to this 365-day thing. And you want to call the first 31 January, and you want to call, you know, the next 28 February. Okay, we'll do it. And everybody kind of agreed to this system, and we're accustomed to it. And we, you know, we start teaching it to you when you're 3 years old, and you say, you know, your birthday is, you know, February 15th, and, you know, whatever. And we get accustomed to it, and we forget that it's numeric. It's just, we're not sure what 0 is, right? That's like, is that like billions of years ago, or do we say that's a few thousand years ago? And, you know, in our current cycle, we say, you know, that 2022 is, you know, some year 0. And so, you know, all we have to do is we picked an arbitrary 0 point, and then everything is just measured in how many days from that 0 point. And we just, every 365 days, we kind of group them together into a year and things like that. And so inside the computer, a date is stored as an integer, and it's the number of days since January 1, 1970. And so if you take, this is like a total side note, but this is just So I do as.date 0. Oh, is that not how it works? Date. What is, how do I do as date in R? I forgot. As date R. Oh, as capital date. This is why we hate computers. All right. No, we still, it hates this. It hates me. All right. As date X. Why are you not working here? All right, you know what? Let's just, okay. So let's do this. Sorry, I'm getting beside my. It's not. Okay, so we have this, and then, so let me take this. That's not numeric. Okay, this is how many integer days, how many days as an integer since January 1st, 1970. And so if I put 1970, that's the 0 day, okay? And so 1971 is 365 days later. This is 1972, 730 days later. And it just, this is all we're doing, okay? And we're just counting. So this is kind of, the computer people said, all right, we're gonna say this is the day here, okay? And then, you know, you wanna go back in time, 1969, that's negative 365 and things like that, all right? And so now, and this is how we can do, this is why we can do calculations between, say, two dates, right? January 1st, 2022, and if I wanted to subtract off, say, March, okay? And I'll say time difference of 59 days or something. If the detail section shows it as a lowercase y, okay. Because the lowercase y means the digit is years represented in 2 digits. And here I've been writing them as 4 digits, okay? So that's why, and this is where it gets like, they get angry. And so, so anyway, dates are represented with integers and they're numeric, and I went on, found that tangent here. It automatically accounts for leap years. Yeah, the calendar is built in. The calendar is built in. Okay, and so here is some, anyway, with Luber date, let me just fly through this. Okay, here's some ambiguous date. If you say this is year, month, day, this will be referred to as, you know, 2003, April 5th. If you say this is month, day, year, this is March 4th, 2005. And if you have day, month, year, if you're European or something, this would be 2005, April 3rd, okay? And, you know, if you try to say, oh, this is month, day, year, you know, Christmas 1999, but you did it wrong instead of day, month, year, it says, you know, you can't do that. There's no 25th month, okay? Okay, all right, let's get into what I wanted to talk about, which is web scraping with rvest. Did I give you any view quiz answers yet? No, okay. I gotta look up my answers. Okay, first one, D as in dog is your first view quiz answer. D as in dog. Okay, we've got rvest. And you need, you're gonna need something called selector gadget. You're gonna come to selector gadget. Oops. Okay, well, you could do that. Here, I'm going to just go to selectorgadget.com, selectorgadget.com. And here is, it's been around like 10 years now, okay? But you can just drag this link, okay? You take selector gadget, you drag the link, and you bring it up to your bookmarks bar, right? If you're on Chrome, Command Shift B or Control Shift B will bring up your bookmarks bar, okay? And maybe there's already some junk in there, but you'll just drag selector gadget and bring it up here. I've already dragged it, and so I have selector gadget on the screen here, and you'll need this. Um, so rvest is great for fairly static web pages with well-defined HTML tags. It doesn't work super great if the website is generated with like JavaScript. Basically, if your site has infinite scroll, rvest is going to struggle, okay? Because when you have infinite scroll, that means like as you scroll, it's like generating new information and it's generating that content as you're scrolling, okay? Whereas if you have like a single page and then if you want to go to the next page, you have to click next and stuff like that, that's going to be a little bit better because it's basically just loading the entire page and it's not going to like try to generate new content as you're scrolling up and down. Okay, rvest is also not going to work if you have to be logged in. So basically, don't try to do Facebook because Facebook has infinite scroll and you have to be logged in to view anything. rvest just isn't going to work there. Okay, if you need to do something like scrape things off of Facebook, which by the way was a violation of its terms of agreement, you'd have to use something like the Selenium browser. Okay, there's other stuff here. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever done like a web programming thing where you write something in HTML and CSS and stuff like that. But basically, the way we format things on the internet is you use CSS classes to kind of designate different I guess formats. Okay. And so here, this is, this is from the website Reddit. And if you go to like, I'm going to go to old.reddit here. Okay. And so old Reddit doesn't have infinite scroll, whereas kind of like the new Reddit does. And these things all have like, if you ever right click, you can do inspect. And all of these things have, there's all these like CSS tags, right? So if you click, I wanted to inspect that, but you can, there's all of this HTML stuff going on in the background, okay? And the formatting between elements is kept consistent using CSS tags. And so if you kind of like read the underlying HTML, this is like a simplified version, these things will have something like class assignments. And basically the selector gadget is going to use the CSS class assignments to try to figure out how to pick these things out. Okay. And you can kind of extract all of this stuff. I've posted this demo file and I'm going to kind of work through this and I'm going to show you how rvest works. So first things first, let me go ahead and just wipe everything out of my library and let me load up library rvest. I'm also going to load up library stringer. I don't think I actually use data.table, so it's actually not necessary. If you need to, you might have to do install.packages rvest if you don't have rvest inside. Okay, anyway, I'm going to start off on this web page. Okay, this is the IMDb page for the Lego movie, and I've already got it loaded up on my browser. Okay, and let me just zoom out a tiny bit. Okay. So here it is, the Lego movie, which, I can't believe is already, 8 years old now, 2014. It's a fun movie. And let's say we want to extract some information out of this web page. Okay, we want to scrape this web page for some information. So what I'm going to do is after loading rvest, I'm going to use this command, read_html, read_html. I'm going to store it. Okay, I'm going to store the contents of that page, okay, by using read_html into just this object called the Lego movie page, right? So I run this, and so now we've stored Lego_movie, and this is going to be the object with which I interact. Okay, and let's say on this page I want to extract out the IMDb rating. 7.7. Okay, so let's say this is the piece of information that I want to get from this page. I'm going to remember I had to drag selector gadget to my browser toolbar. I'm going to click selector gadget, and what this does is it loads this little gadget or widget down on the lower page of my my browser page. Can you guys see this? And now as I hover my mouse over different objects on the page, it's drawing these orange boxes. And so I'm gonna hover over this 7.7. 7.7, that's the value I want to extract from this page. So I'm gonna just click that, okay? And when I click that, it gives me this gibberish down here, all right? And it says clear to, it says somehow there's, two things, and I scroll around and I'm like, I don't see anything else highlighted in green. So, and there's only 2 objects gonna be returned here. So I'm gonna say, okay. So I highlight this text here, okay? And I'm gonna just X out of selector gadget. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Lego movie. Are you guys familiar with the pipe operator? Okay. The pipe operator, so I can do HTML underscore nodes, and I would have to do Lego underscore movie, and I would put in this this tag here. Okay, this is the tag, and this is basically how I would write it. And when I hit enter, it extracts this. And from here, if I wanted to put this inside the next function, HTML text, which is going to extract the text, I would do HTML underscore text, and I put that inside the parentheses. And this is how we kind of, we're accustomed to nesting functions inside R, right? You want the output of one thing to go into the next thing, to go into the next thing, and you have to kind of nest them inside of each other. And then if I wanted the result of this to be made numeric, I can do as.numeric and put that inside parentheses. Okay. Whereas piping, so R's default method is you write a function, you take the output. If you wanted to do something with the output, you nest it inside another function. If you wanted to do something with that thing, you nest it inside another function. And what piping does is, later on, if you had to read this, it makes it harder. What piping does is it takes it and it makes a kind of a linear path of what you've done. So here we're gonna, rather than nesting Lego movie inside HTML and nesting that inside HTML text and nesting that inside as.numeric, I'm going to take Lego movie, I'm going to pipe it into the function HTML nodes. I'm going to take the output of HTML nodes and I'm going to pipe it into the function HTML text. And then I'm going to take the output of HTML text and I'm going to pipe it into as.numeric. Okay, so these two functions, or this command is equivalent to this command. And this takes up more space, but in my opinion is more readable as far as what it's doing. Take the Lego movie, do HTML nodes, take that output, do HTML text, take that output, run as.numeric. Okay, yes, you can read it this way, but it's a little bit harder, because we're accustomed to reading left to right, as.numeric, HTML text, HTML nodes, Lego movie. And so when you have to understand what's happening, you have to start on the innermost thing, Lego movie. And what are we doing? We're putting that inside HTML nodes. What are we doing there? We're going to put that inside HTML text. And what are we doing there? We're going to do as.numeric. In my opinion, this is more readable. Okay. And so that's what piping does. And the pipe operator is this % greater than %. There's a short keyboard shortcut, Command-Shift-M, and we'll talk about piping in a future lecture as well when we do dplyr. But anyway, basically, by selecting that this CSS tag, okay, using selector gadget and hovering over the 7.7, I can extract out that value 7.7, and for whatever reason inside the code for this web page, the 7.7 is listed twice. Okay, but we're saying pull out anything on the page that has this tag .itlwov, okay, and then extract the text associated with that tag, okay, which is 7.7. And when you extract it, it comes back as character type, and we want to say make that numeric. And so now we have as the value 7.7 here, okay, and that's kind of the basics of rvest. Okay, let's say we wanted to get the names of the actors in the Lego movie. So I'm going to scroll down And so on IMDb, we have all of these actors: Chris Pratt, Will Ferrell, Elizabeth Banks, Will Arnett. I'm going to use selector gadget. Okay. So I click selector gadget. This thing pops up, and now I can hover over the different stuff. All right. So here I want to extract out the name of our actor. So I'm going to click Chris Pratt. And when I do this, all of this other stuff also shows up in yellow. And so this says, oh, you know what? We're going to select everything in yellow. And it says we're selecting 18 things. Okay, we're going to select 18 things. And that looks about right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to select these 18 things. So I highlight this. I'm going to copy this tag, .eztgks. Who knows what that means? Doesn't mean anything. And we're going to say, all right, take that page, the Lego movie, which remember we said read the HTML, extract out all of the HTML nodes here with this tag, .eztgks, okay? And then extract the HTML text. The question, would this specific tag still work if sometime later the movie, okay, if the movie rating changed, it would work. If the tag that they use on the web page changes, it will break, okay? So if this tag looks like it was generated by a computer, and if for whatever reason they decide to generate a new tag, then the code will break, okay? So here, I'm gonna run this through, and we're gonna extract all the nodes, and from that node, so if you stop after just extracting the nodes, it's gonna pull all of the kind of the full HTML tag. And all we want is, we just wanna pull out the text associated with it, okay? And so when I pull out the text using HTML_text, we get the list of the actors here, okay? And so when I do this, this matches the text that we see, right? We see Chris Pratt, Will Ferrell, Elizabeth Banks, Will Arnett, Craig Berry, Alison Brie, David Burrows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? So all of these actor names now show up as text that we can, do stuff with, okay? What if you want to just select the first 4 actors? It's simple. just say I want 1 through 4, okay? And that's it. When you use the tag, it's going to select everything that gets highlighted with that tag, okay? All right, let me just show you an example of, using selector gadget to just get like one piece of information that you want, right? So let's say you want to extract this user review, okay? And so here's the review. Never have I been so wrong about a movie. Like many of you, the first time I saw the trailer, I thought to myself, are you kidding me? Okay, well, this person apparently liked it. So I'm gonna click selector gadget. I'm gonna hover over the piece. I wanna extract out this text, okay? I hover over this. Now, when I click this, the text I want turns green, okay? If I click this text that I want is green, a whole bunch of other stuff turns yellow. And look at this. It says 972 things are going to be selected. I go, oh dear, that's way too much. So you know what? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to just select something that's yellow that I don't want. Okay, I'm going to click this. All right, I click this. It now turns red, and it says I don't want this. Okay, now only 9 things are going to get selected. I look up. So all of this yellow stuff is going to get selected. I'm going to say, I don't really want that either. Okay, so I click that. Okay, so these things are now red. And it says, okay, now you're only going to select 6 things. Okay, what are the 5 other things? The Lego movie is a 3D. Okay, I don't really want that either. Okay, so I click that. And I don't know what is being selected. And something down here is being selected. Okay, so basically, I'm going to just click this. All right. And so, so now the tag I have to select is this really long thing. .ipc overflow text list card overflow text long .ipc whatever. Okay, but here I'm only going to get one thing. Okay, and I think that's the node that I ended up selecting here. Okay, so I do that, and we're going to take Lego movie and we're going to extract out the text. And so now is the text of the movie review. Like many of you, the first time I saw the trailer for the Lego movie, I thought to myself, are you kidding me? Okay, and the entire text of that review now shows up on this thing. Okay, it's a very long tag. And in order to kind of select it, you have to kind of do this. If you want to select it only directly, and I think I saw this, you can do this, right? So if you select this, you can say, I don't want this. But then if you say this, I do want this, and I do want this, and I do want this, you can you can select these things, and you can pull out those tags, and it will tell you. And basically, the tag that we are selecting, it's got those 4 things. You can kind of see it's got child 1, child 2, child 3, child 4. Okay, which is kind of another thing. What are the slashes in the text? Okay, this is how text, when you read text, the slashes indicate kind of, these are escapes. These are escape keys, because if I didn't do this, right, here's a quote, and there's a quote mark inside a quote. So we need to say, I need the literal quote character, not if I do a close quote, it would close off this quote. Okay, and then also new lines are indicated, oh, maybe not, usually indicated with a /n, or other kind of symbols here, so to kind of escape certain symbols. Second view quiz answer today is A as an apple. A as an apple is the second view quiz answer. Second view quiz answer is A as an apple. Okay, so let me show you. This is the coolest thing, and I've got a few more minutes to show you how this works. Let's say we wanted to start at the Lego movie page, and then we wanted to go to each of these actors, right? Where are they now, right? And we can say, all right, what is Chris Pratt working on? Okay, so we can click Chris Pratt's page. And if we go to Chris Pratt's page, we can see, okay, Chris Pratt is working on Cowboy Ninja Viking. Sounds like, okay, all right. And then also Garfield, Untitled Illumination Entertainment Project, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, The Terminal List, and Thor: Love and Thunder, Jurassic World Dominion, The Tomorrow War, Onward, Magic Gems. Okay, so these are all of these kind of projects that that Chris Pratt is working on. And so let's say we wanted to extract this, right? So I use selector gadget. I'm going to come over here. I want this. Okay, that's too much. Okay, 844 things. I'm gonna click. I don't want the actual titles of the movie episodes. Okay, but now I'm not getting enough. Okay, I do want like Garfield and all of these other things. And so it says it's going to select 289 things. And I go, oh, I guess that's fine. Okay. It doesn't look like anything else is being selected. So the tag that we're going to use will be B space A. That's going to be the tag. All right. And we can just kind of verify. And we're going to say, let's read the HTML of Chris Pratt's IMDb page, which is right here. And we're going to read in the nodes, and from there, let's extract out the text. Okay, and these will be all of Chris Pratt's projects. And indeed, this looks kind of correct, I think. All right, so we look at the top: Cowboy Ninja Viking, Garfield, Untitled Illumination Project, Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's extracting out all of those names. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so this is I think the coolest part is we can create an automated browser session, and we can tell our computer to start off on the Lego movie page, then basically go to Chris Pratt's page, extract out all of Chris Pratt's projects. Okay, go to Will Ferrell's page and extract all of Will Ferrell's projects, and then go to Elizabeth Banks' page and extract all of Elizabeth Banks projects. Okay, and we're gonna do all of these things. Okay, and we're gonna do this in an automated session. Okay, and so the way this is gonna work. Okay, so notice instead of reading the HTML, I'm gonna say start an HTML session. And this basically creates like a hidden browser that we can say, follow this link. And so we say start off at the Lego movie page. Okay, so I'm going to create a session, and I'm going to store the session as S. Okay, so S is an rvest HTML session. And then we can say, start off at the session page, which is the IMDb page, and follow the link that says Chris Pratt, okay? Right, so we say, start on this page, find a link that's titled Chris Pratt. Now, if there's multiple links on the page that say Chris Pratt, it's gonna follow the first one, okay? So we're gonna say, follow the link that says Chris Pratt. When we follow that link that says Chris Pratt, that's gonna take us to Chris Pratt's page. And then from there, we can read the HTML and extract out the projects, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty list, and I'm going to just say for the first 4 actors in cast, okay? So I'm going to just say for cast 1 through 4. So we're just going to do it for these first 4 actors: Chris Pratt, Will Ferrell, Elizabeth Banks, and Will Arnett, okay? We're going to say, starting at the session, follow the link, right? So we're going to do for actor name in cast 1 through 4. So first it's going to do Chris Pratt, then it's going to do Will Ferrell. So I'm going to say, start at the session, follow the link, session follow link, take the actor name. So first it's going to be Chris Pratt, then it's going to be Will Ferrell, then it's going to be Elizabeth Banks, and read in the HTML. That HTML that reads in will be the actor page, okay? From the actor page, read the nodes BA. That's going to pull out the projects they're working on, extract out the text. And here I'm going to just say, just do the first 10, just do the first 10, okay? And we're going to store this into, remember, we've got just this empty list. I'm going to do cast movies. I'm going to create a train car. It's going to be a lists inside lists, okay? So we're going to create a train car with the actor name. And inside that train car, we're going to have another list. And the first object there is going to, the first item is going to be called movies. So I'm just kind of storing this here. Then we also start out that actor page. I'm also going to extract out the year, right? So we're going to go to Chris Pratt's page using selector gadget. Let's say I want to extract out the years. We're going to pull out the year column, okay? And this is the tag, for whatever reason I had hash filmography year column, but whatever, that's fine. Okay, and we're going to pull out the text, and we're going to get the first 10 things. This is a little bit of regular expressions where I'm going to just pull out a 4-digit year, okay? But anyway, I'm going to pull out the year, and then we're going to also just insert, repeat the actor name 10 times, okay? And we're going to put that in the name. So let me just kind of show you this. And I think, again, I have my session. The session is open, rvest session. We've got an empty list for cast movies. And here I'm going to automatically have it automated. It's going to pay attention to the console. You're going to see it say it's going to follow this first link. This is going to Chris Pratt's page. Now it's going to Will Ferrell's page. Now it's going to Elizabeth Banks' page. And then the last one was Will Arnett's page, okay? And it's pulled all of this stuff. So let me just show you the structure of cast movies. Okay, so cast movies, top level, list of 4, okay? Top level, we have Chris Pratt, which has a list of 3. Then we have Will Ferrell, which is a list of 3, consisting of movies, years, names. Then we got Elizabeth Banks, which is a list of 3, movie, years, name, and then Will Arnett, movie, year, names, okay? Are the HTML tags the same for all 4 actors? Yes, so that's one nice thing, is that the reason why this works is because if I looked at the selector gadget here for basically for these things, the tags are BA here. And then if I go to Will Ferrell's page and I use selector gadget and I do the same kind of, whoops. Same kind of thing where I say, I don't want this, but I do want this. Okay, it uses the same tags, BA. Okay, BA. And so all of these, all pages use that tag. So now I have kind of a list of lists, and I want to kind of combine them. So I'm going to try to create a data frame. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new empty list, a list where I'm going to have movies, years, and name. Okay, and we'll call this results. And basically, for my cast underscore movies is a list of 4, and I'm going to go through each one. And I'm going to just basically start off at the first element in cast underscore movies. cast_movies. We're going to start off, at the first list, which is, Chris Pratt stuff. Okay. And then we're going to take the current movies and just append all of those things on. And then we'll do it for the second thing. We're going to do Will Ferrell stuff and we're going to append those on. And so I'm going to go ahead and run through that. And I'm going to take those results, which right now is a list of 3, and I'm going to make a data frame out of it. And so now, oops, we can see we have gone and collected kind of the first 10 projects that Chris Pratt is working on, the first 10 projects that Will Ferrell is working on, the first 10 projects that Elizabeth Banks is working on, and the first 10 project that Will Arnett is working on. Okay. And this was all done kind of in this automated browser session where we started off at the Lego page and we told our browser to follow each of these links for each of the actors, and then extract out information from the page that it followed. Again, you can do it with basic pages that are fairly static, that don't have kind of this infinite refresh business. And it works pretty well. If you need something more complicated, you probably need something like Selenium. Let me go ahead and give you your last view quiz answer. Today's last view quiz answer is the letter B. B as in bear. B as in bear. Okay, and we will end there. I do have this script posted on Canvas, so you should be able to follow it, and it should work. And then you can modify it to fit the needs that you need. All right, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
Thank you.